Kembo na tata nzambi Yamazulu mpungu tunendo sonini na nini somandla ngai murungu mwenenyaga. Depending on where you are, Banabeto, I say to you, nusiemi beto abumbote bana bai solile moloeni abantuana abangoni muriega shiana shiangai mpo salama watoto wa Mungu. Yes, it's that time we sit and rightly divide the word of truth. And today we have none other than the man, son of Muntu Barankosi Yamazulu, Pastor MELO, as you know him, my king, my yete.
Okay.
Finally, my king, I've been looking forward to this moment because Banabetu are hungry for the truth. The truth cannot be denied anymore. We have read your books. We have listened to you. We want to know, Pastor MELO, how did you come into this truth?
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to praise Tata Nzambi Yamazulu, who has given us this opportunity to share the truth, and I would say the ultimate truth.
Kimbo.
And I would like to say matondo masaka to you, my younger brother Yakubi. Be blessed. It is an honor to me to be here and to have this exchange with you and with all of our Bantu people, and not only Bantu people. In fact, when we say Bantu people, people must understand that it's the whole world, okay? Because Muntu means human being. And just to get into the matter, people that Muntu actually gave the Latin word mundus. For example, when in French we say tout le monde entier, monde comes from mundus, mundi in Latin, and mundus comes from muntu. And I know that a sister from Kenya told me that in Kikuyu,
Mundo.
Instead of saying muntu, they say mundu.
Mundu.
And mundu is exactly the word for the Latin, is exactly the Latin word, which has been taken from our Bantu language. So when we say Bantu people, we don't exclude anyone, because the whole world, all human beings are Bantu. And Muntu means also the head, okay? And the first sentence in the Bible, in the Hebraic language, is Bereshit. In the beginning, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. And in the word Bereshit, you have the word Rosh. And Rosh means the head. And Muntu means the head. In Lingala, we say human being is Moto. And the head is Mutu. It's the same word, which means that we, when we define ourselves, we are getting into the Bible, because in the beginning, Tata Nzambi Yamazulu indicated to the human being he has just created that he would be the head of all creation. So we are Muntu, human being, and we are the Rosh, the head, the chiefs. Okay, so this is just to introduce ourselves.
My king, as you say, the whole world, and we do not exclude. You know, it has come to light that if I take you back to Genesis, there was an enmity put between two seeds. You know, the sons of Muntu and the seed of Cain. The murderer's intent, and we hear Msindisi or Yisaya Congo, a Congo, talk about this seed. So, my king, when you tell us that Muntu embodies everybody, are you saying that this seed does not exist?
Because, the seed of Bantu?
No, the seed of Cain. You know, because Muntu, from our understanding, is that Muntu are the sons of the melanated ones, the ones that are hated by the Mundele.
Okay.
So perhaps you can bring this into perspective. You know, there is salvation for those that cling to the children of Israel. Yes. Now, perhaps you can bring this to perspective, my king.
You know, when we go to the Bible in Acts, I think it must be Acts chapter 17, verses, let's see. Tatanzambia Mazulu is saying that all human being comes from the same blood. Acts chapter 17, let's see. All human beings comes from, it must be 1330. Let's see.
1730 says, and
yes,
at the
26.
time of this ignorance.
26. No. It's Act 17:26. Can you read it?
And hath made of one blood all nations of Muntu, for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation.
Okay, so that one blood is the Muntu blood. And since they say that Africa is the cradle of humanity, you know, this has a deep meaning, a deep significance, and people that don't understand it. Because when Kuswa Congo, Isaiah Congo, Christ, when he said that I'm Alpha, he is telling people that he's a Muntu, because Alpha means the beginning. Okay, so when you describe the human body, you can't start with the feet. You must start with the head. So the head is Alpha of the body. The Alpha of humanity is Africa. So when Christ says, I'm Alpha and Omega, which means the first and the last means that he's an African. He can't be Alpha when you look at him like an Asian, because they came centuries and centuries after the first humanity, which was in Africa. Okay, so referring to what you just said, we must understand that from one blood, which is an African blood, all human beings have been made. So human beings, I must say that all human beings are bound to people.
And okay, the corruption of the seed, my king.
The corruption of the seed.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. Starting from Cain. Yeah, because you know that he even this name of Cain. Cain is in the Congo language. Cain comes from Kanu, and Kanu means the crime. Kanu means crime. So the first man to obey really the voice of the enemy, the voice of Satan, was in fact Cain. who committed a murder, who committed the first crime in the world. And mind you, Kanu in Kikongo, which refers to Cain, is the same word as Canaan in Palestine, because the worst crime in human history has happened there in Palestine when the sacred blood of Kuswa Congo was shed because of, of men, the cruelty of men. But in fact, you were right, because we must define things. You have the blood of the, I would say, God's people, Tatanzambi's people, and you also have the blood of those who are, in fact, devils, which came from, they were thrown out of the heaven, and they are here among us. The reason why in Matthew chapter 13, when Kuswa Congo is referring to the parable of the seeds, I think that it must be Matthew chapter 13, 27, if my memory serves me well. 27. So the servants of the house holder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares?
Yes.
Those tares are effectively the seed of the evil one, which exists among the seed of Tatanzambi's son and brother. And Kuswa Congo told us that we would recognize them by their fruit. And you're right, because you see, when you consider the history of humanity, it must be clear that the Edomites have perfectly realized the will of their master, okay? Because of all the crimes, not because of the color, no, because of their fruits. But the time is coming when humanity will know who are the seed of Kuswa Congo, the seed of Tatanzambi, and who are the seeds of the evil one,
the Chitauri. Now, talking of the the evil one, we do know that they have taken our scriptures. They took our original scrolls from Kumka, South Africa, and transported them to Nicaea, where they doctored them. Now, when it comes to the writings of Paul, we see a lot of contradiction with the laws in the Old Testament. We also find that in the Old Testament, we have elements of the enemy putting himself in the story of Panabeto. Like in the desert, we hear of them worshiping a snake on a cross. We do know that this cross is the Kiro, the sign of the Chitauri, those that fell from Yamazulu and lost their honor, slept with the daughters of Muntu, corrupted the blood of the daughter of Muntu, and that's the seed of Cain of God. So when it comes to the writings of Paul, my king, what is your take on that?
On the writings in the Bible?
Paul, to be specific.
Paul. I would return the question to you. Do you know the root of Paul's name?
I wouldn't say that I do know, my king, so perhaps indulge me.
Okay, this is one proof, a very easy one, that Paul was in fact an African. You know that one of the most blatant lies in human history is to have separated, which nowadays we call the Middle East, which is an invention, and Africa, because Moses was an African. The 10 commandments that Tata Nzambi gave to humanity through Moses were given on an African land, on Sinai, okay? And at that time, Sinai and Palestine was the same land. They were not separated. The separation came with what we call the Suez Canal.
Zeus
The
Canal.
Canal de Suez. Okay. It separated Palestine with Africa. And the Edomites took advantage of this to actually take Sicily and divide, for example, Egypt. They divided Egypt from Africa, telling people around the world that Egypt is the Middle East. While even the word Egypt never existed before, because our ancestors, they never used the word Egypt. Egypt came with the Greek, with the Greek, kuptos. When we say the Copts today, it was the original in Greek language of what they call Egyptians. But the Egyptians themselves, who were Africans, they said we are Kem. We are the descendants of Kam or Kemet. Okay? So talking about what was your question?
Paul,
yes,
do you feel that Paul, everything that Paul is writing?
Can you read Acts chapter 21, 38? The book of Acts 21, 38.
Art not thou that Egyptian which before these days madest an uproar and ladest out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers?
Okay, so you see a Roman, an Edomite, making a clear difference between himself, who is white, and Paul was an Egyptian, which means that he was black. But now, how come, you know what was the name of Paul before?
Saul.
Okay. And you will see that there's only one letter that was changed. From Saul, we went to Paul. And you can't explain this change in any other language except in Kikongo. Because in Kikongo, Saula means to have hatred in one's heart. Saula, okay? And Paul means the purified one, which comes from the verb vaula, which means to purify. And the word that comes from the verb vaula is mpaulu, the one who has been purified. So in one word, we have the history of Paul the Apostle, from the one who had hatred against Christians, against Christ. He was purified and he became one of the most famous defenders or disciple of Christ. But now, speaking of the law, there are many things we could say. We should not cling. We should not cling to the law of the Old Testament. You know why? Because it is written that Paul himself in Galatians chapter 2, he makes it clear that he was sent to the Goim meaning the Gentiles. And if the law, the Mosaic law, had been imposed to the Gentiles, you know, what Kuswa Congo commanded wouldn't have happened, because he said, you must go and teach the whole world. And for that reason, the law has been, let's say, alleviated. And you can see it also always in the book of Acts, chapter 10, the history of Peter's vision, okay? Peter's vision, you will see that Tatanzami himself, he said, no, we must alleviate the law to make it possible for the Gentiles also to take advantage of the salvation. Acts chapter 10.
My king, wouldn't we be contradicting the words of Tatan Zambi, who says, I am the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Because, and also Kuswa Kongo says that, know that I have not come for the nations, but for the lost sheep of Isolili.
Yes, yes, yes.
So now, don't you think, my king, that this addition of Paul to the salvation of the nations is just, Kuswa is saying that he did not come for the nations, he came but for the lost sheep of Isolele. Don't you think we would be contradicting ourselves by following Paul, who has gone against everything that Kuswa Yakongo is saying and Tatan Zambi has said? That is what we have discovered.
Yes, yes, there's no contradiction at all, because, you know, in the first chapter of Acts, when Kuswa Kongo was departing from his disciples and ascending to heaven, the disciples asked him, is it in this time that you will restore all things? He said, no, not yet, because we have to preach the whole word before. The Mosaic laws will be restored, okay? But in his grace, in his divine grace, Tatanzami made it possible for the pagans also to become Isolele, to become the sons of Tatanzami. And you know that the Mosaic laws were very, 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 very harsh, very hard to follow. That's the reason why, for a while, Tatanzami, the example I'm giving is starting from Act chapter 10, verse 11. Can you read?
Chapter 10, verse 11. And so heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, and it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and the wild beasts, and the creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat.
Go on. Go on, go on.
And Peter said, no, so,
Lord,
for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, what Tatanzambi has cleansed, that call not thou common.
Okay, I think that is a very great lesson. Without this lesson, Christianity would not exist. But now, I would like, because the time we have is very, very short, I think. I would like us to go to the core of our talk about the third secret of Fatima. Because, you know, the future of humanity lay upon this secret. And you know that this secret is being upheld by the Vatican in Rome since 1960. So it is 60 years that the world should know the truth about Kuswako, about Christ, and it is being hidden by those who say of themselves that they are the representation, okay, or Jews, or as the popes in Vatican, they say, they are the representation of Kuswa Kongo on earth. Okay, now mm, it's no coincidence if we are having this talk in this month of August. I would like you to give my testimony. How did I come to know what is known as the true or the third secret of Fatima? In fact, it was in August 1983. So it's a long, long time ago. I was in Paris, and one night, it was on the 33rd, on August 23rd, 1983, Kuswa Congo appeared to me. So what I'm telling you today is not that it comes from me. It doesn't come from me. It comes from Kuswa Congo himself, Isaiah Congo, from the Mwandansemi, the Holy Spirit. And you know, I saw on that famous night, Kuswa Congo appearing to me. First of all, it was like a burning bush, okay? A flame in my room. I was sleeping, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I awoke and I saw that fire burning in my room. And after that, I saw the vision of Kuswa Congo, and he wasn't white, he was black, and he came to me just to disclose to me his humble servant, what is called the third secret of Fatima. And it is something so incredible that Kuswa Congo told me at the same time that he would give me enough wisdom to be able to convince the world that we are telling the truth. Not only will it be a matter of faith, but now we can go into science and prove to the world that we are telling the truth. You know that when we are talking about Israel, I'm very, very surprised that most of people don't know what is the meaning of Israel. Okay? We say Israel, but what is the meaning of Israel?
To fight against the Most High. Israel fight the Most High.
That's very, very, very interesting, because I have many friends who are Jews, who are, you know, Ashkenazi, who are, how do you call it, Sepharad. Okay, those, in fact, to whom the biblical text refer in Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9. Those who say that they are Jews and they are not, and who are lying. Okay? Okay. So the whole world look at them, saying that they are the chosen people of Tatanzani, and they are not. And it's very easy to prove. Only with the language I can demonstrate that they are not. They are not. And starting from the word Israel, they say, citing the Bible, I think that in Hebraic they say, Sarita im Elohim ve'im anashim vatuchal, which means that you fought with the Creator and the men, and you overcome. Okay, so that's true that up to now, those who claim to be Jews and are not, they are fighting against Tatanzambi, not believing that Kuswa Congo is the Messiah. They are fighting against Tatanzambi. But now, this is not the meaning of Israel. The meaning of Israel is very easy to prove. And you can find it from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible. Israel means simply the chosen ones, the chosen people of Tatanzambi, of the Most High. And it comes from the Congo language.
Wouldn't that be, my king, sorry to interrupt you, wouldn't that be Isolele? Because
yes,
Isolele.
That is, because look, even the verb Isolele comes from the verb sola in Kikongo. And sola gave the Latin word select. Can you hear that? Sola, to select, to choose. And isolele literally means I have chosen thee. I have chosen you. And this, even a kid, a 7-year kid will understand without going with the explanation of Jacob fighting against the angel. And all these also we can find in our traditions, in our history. But I will explain that later on if time permits. Now, going back to the third secret of Fatima, I went to Israel, it was 20 years ago, to investigate there. And my main subject of investigation was to see what they say about the lost tribes of Isolele. Okay? So if they are really the chosen ones, if they are really Tatanzambi's people, it would be very easy to prove that, okay, here we have the 12 tribes. But you know that when we go to the Bible, from the beginning to the end of the Bible, you will never find a point when Tatanzambi says that the 12 tribes will be lost. Because what the Creator has established, man can't destroy. It's impossible. So starting from the beginning to the end, you know that the Bible is speaking about the 12 tribes. But now the 12 tribes, being inspired by the Modern Saint, the Holy Spirit, they knew that there would be a danger, okay, to say openly that we are the 12 tribes of Isolele. Because when you read the Bible, I think it must be Psalm 86, when they say, let's exterminate them from the surface of the earth, you know. So it was in the plan of the devil to exterminate God's people. That's the reason why they had to hide themselves. And, you know, at one point of Isolele's history, they were in what my dear people in Dimona, you know, we have a Black community in Dimona. They went there in it was in 1965 or 66, and they're still there, okay? And they don't say that Israel is Palestine or the Middle East. They say Eastern Africa, okay? I have this Bible, which I recommend to everybody. It is they call it, I bought it in Israel, in fact. It is the original, can you see?
The original African Heritage Study Bible.
Okay, and so they call Isolele Africa. They don't say that it's Asia or the Middle East. And they re-established the truth about Isolele. You can see the pictures in the Bible. This is King Solomon and Queen Makeda, or as you know, the Queen of Saba. So just to say that historically speaking, it's very easy to see that it's impossible 2,000 years ago that the people that were in Isolele, or the land they call Canaan, were white people only. It's ridiculous. The white people came from different migrations, starting from the Persians, the Greek, the Romans. So they mixtured in one point with the indigenous people who were in Palestine. But as Tatanzambi had determined, you know, the 12 tribes of Israel were there to show people who by blood were the true Isolele, and the other ones who converted to Judaism there, Jews from culture and not from blood. Okay,
Conversos.
so this is the basis of the third secret of Fatima. We must put it to our minds that the true people of Tatanzambi, of the Most High, were not white, they were not Edomites, they were black people. So this is the basis of the third secret of Fatima.
And very easy to prove, my king, because if I can refer you to Genesis chapter 13:1.
Genesis chapter
13:1.
Okay. So 13:1.
1.
And Abraham went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. Yes.
So how did we end up in the north?
Yeah. You're right. You're right. You know that the Bible has been translated into the so-called Hebraic language.
Yiddish.
It was translated. When, for example, you consider the calendar, which is called the Jewish calendar, you will find that, in fact, they are Assyrians, they were Babylonians who converted into Judaism at one point of their history. For example, the month of April in the Jewish calendar is Tammuz. Tammuz is, a Greek, a Babylonian god. Okay, this is another history. But to go back to the Isolele, the true people of Tatanzambi, when Kuswa Kongo was crucified, died, resurrected, and ascended up, he gave instructions to his people that you will see, you'll have a great sign with the destruction of the temple. This temple will be destroyed, and this will mean for you to leave the land which is called Canaan, to go to the south, okay? Because Tatanzambi has determined that the kingdom to come will be situated in the center of the world. And it is called in the Yiddish language, Nabel Haaretz. Nabel Haaretz means the navel of the earth. And the navel of the earth cannot be in Palestine, because Palestine is latitude 27, I think. But the navel of the earth must imperatively pass through the equator, the line which divides the world into two parts, two equal parts. And you know that this line is in Africa, also in South America, but principally in Africa. And we have a country which is called, for example, République Centrafricaine. The
Republic
Central. Okay, so to mean that the center, the navel of the earth is in Africa. And the 12 tribes departed from Palestine. And I must say also that there's something very significant in Isolele's history. When the Maccabeans fought against the Greek, okay, this war was terrible. And many of the Isolele's people left Palestine, left Canaan, to go down to Egypt, and they settled there. So you had two principal communities of Jewish people, or people of Isolele, those who were still in Canaan, in Palestine, and those who were in Egypt. One of the reasons why, when Kuswa Kongo was born, and that there was a threat against his life, he went down into Egypt. He could have been across the Jordan River, okay, which was nearer. the place
My king,
where they were.
our
But
research
they
shows that.
went into Egypt because they knew that in Egypt there were a community of Israelite people. And after the destruction of the temple, those who were in Jerusalem, in the northern part, they
My
went
king,
to Egypt.
my king,
From
perhaps
Egypt,
before
they
we
went
continue,
down
our
to the
research,
center of Africa.
my king, with all due respect, our research shows that Jerusalem was never in the north. It was in South Africa.
In South Africa.
The temple enjoys her rest in the Namib Desert. We have no association with the north, because Abama in Genesis chapter 13 goes south, up south. You see, if you look at the elevation of South Africa, my king, that's going up. So he went into Mamre, South Africa, and we have found Mamre in South Africa. Kuso Congo, we know he was killed in Golgotha in Congo. We found these locations, my king. So we continue to we know this is a deception that has been done by those Ashkenazi Jews.
Okay.
They want us to turn our attention away from sub-Saharan culture. If like, for example, if you watch Yaya Robert Headley on Black Re-Education TV, we found all these biblical locations. Mamre is in South Africa, my king. We have found AI, all the biblical locations. We have found that Ur of the Chaldees is in what is currently Burkina Faso. So why would we want to be looking into that desert? Because it cannot be the land of milk and honey. I know. They don't even have water.
But you know, when it comes to the names, today we have let's say a region of the world which is called Orleans in the United States. Okay, and we have, this is New Orleans, but we have Orléans, which is in France. Okay, so finding names of the Bible in Africa doesn't mean that they didn't exist in the northern part of the world. And myself, from experience, okay, I told you that Kuswa Congo appeared to me in August 1983, and you know, I was taken by the Spirit, as Paul in one of his texts say, I know a man who was raptured, okay? It was on the third heaven, and myself, I experienced a situation very similar. Because when Kuswa Congo appeared to me, you know what happened? I was raptured in spirit. And you know, Kuswa Congo took me to Palestine, not in Africa. I saw him, I saw the disciples, I saw many, many things, but it was in Canaan, it was in Palestine. And it had to be, because, you know, Palestine is a crossword of civilization. To permit Christianity to go up to Europe, to the Gentiles, this geographical position was strategic. Okay, so I know of the theory telling that Jerusalem was in South Africa, that Judah was in Ghana or in Nigeria, but you know, we must cling to the Bible, to the geographical situation we have in the maps that many Bibles in the world has. I know that the 12 tribes came from Canaan in the north, and they came down to the neighbor, to the center of Africa, after the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. Okay, and this also explains, and I don't know if you have read my book, The Most Intelligent Language in the World.
I just got, I recently got a copy, and I will be looking at that. But my king, when you say that we can have nothing, that it's there. We even hear of the Nguni in South Africa mentioned in Chronicles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I know.
how would we say that it's not in South Africa yet?
No, because of the migrations. People migrate. And we will go back to the example I've given you. Since we have a New Orleans in the United States and we have Orléans in France, this means that people who were in France migrated to the United States, and in remembrance of the origins, they gave the name New Orleans to the region where they migrated. This is not contradictory. But definitely, I know that the history of Christianism began, okay, the alpha of Christianity began on the northern part of Africa, northern eastern part of Africa, in the so-called Palestine today, okay? And from there, the 12 tribes migrated to the south.
My king, but the proof that we have is irrefutable. That
I know.
We know that everything that they took from the south, even if you look at the pentagram, whatever they call that Star of David, though we know David had no star like that. If you look at the way it maps down, they're just telling you what they did, as it is above, so is it below. So they took our locations from sub-Saharan Africa, which is the land of Canaan. We can prove that using topography. We have a lot of reasons that prove this. We know that what is Palestine has just been used to divert our attention from what it is, because my king explained to me how land that is not arable can be the land of milk and honey. And yet once you come into sub-Saharan culture, you have the greenest, we have all the minerals, like these gadgets we are using, they come from the Congo, you know, and he said that I will put my children below my throne in Yamazulu, you see. So when we are taken to the north, my king, I respectfully disagree with you on that one. With all due respect, because the proof that we have is irrefutable.
I know that it's irrefutable, but we are here, you know, in French they say, du choc des idées jaillit la lumière. Ideas, when they are, you know,
propagated,
yes, there comes the light. Okay, I have my conviction. I've made a lot of research, a lot of investigation on that point, and I respect also your point of view. I know that it's refutable, but what I'm telling you is what it's not from me. It came like a revelation, as Paul says in Ephesians. It's by revelation that I'm disclosing these things with you. It's not my intelligence. Who am I, you know, to be able to get into the archives of Vatican and to tell you that, I know what is the third secret of Fatima, which is hidden there since 1960. But, you know, it's like when Daniel went to the king Nebuchadnezzar and told him the dream he had. No one was able to tell him what was the dream he had during the night. But by the modern saving, by the Holy Spirit, Daniel was able to tell the king, this is what you saw. And the king Nebuchadnezzar knew immediately that he was telling the truth, because no one could enter into his spirit, go into his spirit and know which dream he had. It is exactly what happened to me, you know. By the modern semi, Tatanzam revealed to me what is the third secret of Fatima. What we are talking about the topography, the names in Africa, Southern Africa, which coincide with the Bible, I would say that it's superficial, because when the truth comes out, you will see that all that was hidden will be clearly put on the table and people will understand. Okay, so
my king,
please,
share a name.
it's so important. It's so important to go into the matter, into the third secret of Fatima. I think that it will be the most, or the strongest point, the strongest argument to reveal to people who we are. When you take, for example, you consider the history of our people who had been taken from Africa, and they are nowadays called Black Americans and so-called, and all those names, African Americans. You know, you read Deuteronomy
28.
chapter 28, and you see exactly, and no other people fit the description you find in Deuteronomy chapter 28. But they wonder why all these happened to us, okay? And even the 400 years of slavery, it is so extraordinary, because the first slaves were taken from Congo, and it was in 1619, and you still have archives in the United States, okay, about this. It was in if my memory serves me right, it was August, once again, the month of August. It was on August 20th that the first slaves coming from Congo landed in Babylon, in modern Babylon, United States of America. And when you add 400 years, we come to the year 2019. But all these, the end, the spiritual end of the 400 years of slavery was 2020. When you multiply 20 by 20, you have 400.
Yes.
No one can do that. And this fits only African or Bantu history, okay? Which means that Christ, that whom the whole world is wearing, okay, must be looked for not in Palestine, but in the center of the world, in the center of Africa. And this is the basis, as I've already said, of the third secret of Fatima.
So, my king, you share a name with Simon Toko. Man, not much is known about him to the world. But history shows us that the Pope did send an emissary to Angola, where they had exiled him. No, you're also in Angola, Bangola, those that are the captured ones. So perhaps you would want to talk about Simon Toko?
Yes, definitely. And here we'll have the explanation, the plain explanation of one of the most mysterious and, spiritually speaking, deepest texts in the Bible. It's the only, let's say, the only point when you have a description of Kutwa Congo. Okay? Hold on just 1 minute, I'm coming. Where okay, look, this is, Isaiah 53 is the text most misunderstood in the Bible. Okay, can you read it from verse 1 to verse 3?
Who had believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Satan Zambi revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He has no form, no comeliness, that when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not.
Okay,
Surely
so no. We will stop for the moment up to that verse 3. So tell me, everybody in the Christian world agree that these texts refer to Kuswa Kongo, to the Messiah, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so tell me, my brother Yakubi, does this description fit Kuswa Kongo 2,000 years ago?
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. When the text says he had no beauty that we should desire him, I can tell you that I am one of the privileged, I am among the few human beings that can tell exactly how Kuswa Kongo was, how the Messiah of Isolele was 2,000 years ago. He had a perfect beauty. His face, his body was flawless because it had to be like that. When you read, for example, the text of Leviticus, I think it must be chapter 22, Leviticus 22, you have the conditions that Tatanzam himself gave for a sacrifice to be agreed by him, okay? Leviticus chapter 22, let's take, okay, can you read from verse 18?
Speak unto Aharon and to his sons and unto all children of Isolele, and say unto them, whosoever he be of the house of Isolele, or of the strangers in Isolele, that will offer his oblation for all his vows and for all his freewill offering, which they will offer unto Tatanzambi for a burnt offering. Ye shall offer at your own will a male without blemish, of the beeves, of the sheep, or of the goats. But whatsoever hath a blemish, that shall ye not offer, for it shall not be acceptable for you.
Okay, okay. This means that since Kuswa Kongo was considered to be the lamb, the sacrificial lamb, he had to obey, physically speaking, not spiritually, because they say, I know, when they refer to the beauty, it's spiritual. No, it was physical also, because no sacrifice, starting from animals, not a nominal, no animal with blemish, with a default, was accepted by Tatanzambi as a sacrifice. So his son, who was a sacrificial lamb, had to be perfect in beauty, physical beauty, okay? And so when they say he had no beauty, it can't be Kuswa Kongo, it can't be the Messiah 2,000 years ago, because had he been without beauty, his sacrifice on the cross would not have been accepted from the Father, from the Tatanzambi, okay? And when they say, verse 3, they say, he was despised and we esteemed him not. It's not true. It's not true. It can't be. You know, when, for example, we go back to Matthew chapter 13, you know, they say that the Messiah, Kuswa Kongo, was Matthew chapter 13, the first verse, you will see, they say that he was sitting, let's see.
The same day, Cindy
Yeah.
went out of the house and sat by the seaside.
Okay, he sat by the seaside. And second verse.
And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore.
Okay. Kuswa Congo, most of the time, was obliged to sit on a boat in the sea or on the lake because of the multitude. Okay? When he appeared, he had such a charisma. He had something special, which literally drove people toward him. He was not despised. Of the people, those who despised him, who hated him, were those who were on the superior level of the society. The Pharisees, the scribes, they had every reason to be jealous of him, and they were those who condemned him to death. But the people not. At one point, I know that it's on John, it must be John chapter 6, 14, they wanted to make him a king, okay? John chapter 6, Okay, can you read? John
Therefore they
6?
gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the...
No. John.
Sorry, I was in
chapter 6.
My apologies, my king. John 6.
Yeah. John 6, verse 15.
When Msindisi therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again
to make him what? To make him what?
king.
A king. So someone who is despised, the people, the crowd, the multitude would come to him and by force tell him that they want him to be the king. Okay, this destroyed completely the version that say that Kuswa Congo 2,000 years ago, he was despised. He was not despised. On the contrary, there was a worship of the multitude about Kuswa Congo. And these drove the Pharisees into jealousy, and they went to, they did everything because they were connected with the Roman colonial forces, okay? They were what in French they would say collabo. Mm-hmm. They were working for the enemy, for the Roman people who were there.
Okay? Our research shows that these were the Ashkenazis that had taken over the temple worship, because Msindisi tells him, like your father, who was a murderer from the beginning, the truth can never abide in you. And we know that the truth abides in the sons of Muntu. So when we talk of these scribes, Pharisees, and all that, he even continues to tell them, Father, do not think of yourselves that Abraham, Abama, is your father. Because they say we have Abama. You say that you have Abama for your father, and yet they are not even the seed of Abama. Because what I believe, what I believe, my king, is that through Abama, Isaka, and Yakubi, a righteous generation, because Tata Nzambi said, I will keep a righteous generation. And yet in these times, we see that the melanated ones, the Bangola, are coming into a consciousness that they are the children of Nkosi Yamazulu.
Yeah, sure. I agree with you. But
so now with all these contradictions, my king, I believe it is prudent for us to mention that the scriptures as we have them, they have been doctored to fit a narrative.
Yes, sure. But you know that Nzambi also let this happen because this was the only way to hide his true people. When the eyes of the whole world would be on Palestine, great things were happening in the center of Africa, on the navel of the earth. Okay? When we take, for example, the history of Simon Kimbangu, imagine in 1921, if the 12 tribes of Isolele were still in Palestine, with all the miracles performed by Simon Kimbangu, the whole world would have known that Tatanzambi is back. Tatanzambi is uplifting his people, okay? But this had to be a hidden history. That's the reason why it happened in the center of Africa. Once again, I would like to go back to Isaiah 53, because the question you asked were about Simon Toko, okay? And now, I would, in the Bible, okay? It is written in the Bible. It's not coming from Pastor MELO. No, it is written in the Bible that at the end of times, the Messiah of Isolele would be born again. He would be born from a woman, exactly what happened 2,000 years ago. And these Christians can't accept it because they say, oh, no, he will come on the clouds. It's true. This is what is called the parousia, okay? The manifestation in glory of the Messiah of Israel. But before this, we have, please read Revelation chapter 12. Revelation 12, chapter 12, starting from verse 1 to verse 5, and you'll see that most of biblical scholars, they skip this text because it's so clear that this text refers to the return, a hidden return of the Messiah, born of a woman. Can you read it?
And then,
Revelation chapter 12. Yes.
And there appeared a great wonder in Yamazulu, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in Yamazulu, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And he still drew the third part of the stars of Yamazulu, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she
no, go on.
Okay, and she brought forth a man child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was called up unto Tatanzambi and his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness.
No, let's stop there for the moment. He brought forth a man child. Who is this man child? Who is to rule all nations with a rod of iron? Who is he? He's the Messiah of Isolele. Okay? And the text is very clear that he would be born at the end of times. And the description of the woman fit exactly what happened in Portugal starting from May 13 to October 13. Clothed with the sun. You know that at the end of what is called, what are called the apparitions of the woman in Portugal, on October 13, there was a miracle, the miracle of the sun. And up to now, you have newspapers in Portugal and around the world that report what happened in Portugal with the sun. The woman clothed with the sun represents Isolele and the 12 tribes, which means that the 12 tribes would be in the same local and not scattered all over the world. Okay?
Mikey, referring to that text, those are they clothed from the sun, because that's, I think that text refers to melanin, clothed from the sun. You see what they did there? Clothed from the sun.
So,
because the
melanized.
Bangola are the melanated ones. We do not see any other society, any other group of people throughout history that has been subjugated, as you say, that fits the curses of Deuteronomy 28. So, my king, it's evident to see that the book that we have has been doctored. And only the modern semi can lead us into truth, because we did not even catch that until now.
But I would like people to understand that during the 20th century, the Messiah of Isolele was on earth, but was hidden. And this is the secret that the Vatican is hiding from the whole world in general, but to Black people in particular, because Black people had been formatized to believe that Kusakongo is a white man, and he can't be a white man for many, many, many reasons, okay? But now, let's go back to Simon Toko, okay? Do you have a piece of paper, please?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. Please read.
Verse 18. Here is wisdom. Okay. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Okay, can you write down 666?
Done.
Okay, now you know that this is the number of the Antichrist. The contrary of Christ, of Kuswa Congo. And his number is 666. And this exercise, I would like you to do. A 7-year kid can do it and understand. So what is exactly the other way around when we refer to 666? What is the contrary of 666? Can you show us your paper? Okay, so what is, when you write down 666, it's very easy to guess what is Kuswa Congo, the Messiah's number, which would be exactly when you turn upside down. Okay, so it's 999. Do you understand? It is 999. Now we go back to the third, what happened in Fatima in 1917. The first apparition of the lady that who is described in Revelation chapter 12. Okay, it was May 13, 1917. Can you write it down like this?
May 19th. You said 19th, huh?
It will be like this. Let me see. Okay, so 13 May 1917. Can you see it? Can you write it down like this? 13/05/1917. Okay. Now let's go. When you add 1
and 3,
it gives 4. Okay. 4. You add it to 5, it gives you
9.
9. Okay, you write down 9. Okay, so now we have 1. Okay, we skip the 9 because here we have nothing to do. 1 plus 1 plus 7, it gives you
9.
9. and we have the 9 of
The 9 that is already there, giving us
You have
999.
9, 9, which means, mathematically speaking, that the third secret, or the mystery of Fatima, is about the Messiah of Israel. We have his signature, 999. Now, you know when Simon Toko was born? He was born on the 24th of February 1918, okay? Which means 9 months after the beginning of the apparitions in Fatima. You have 24/02, 1918. This is the birth date of Simon Toko, okay? So let's do the same exercise. When you add 2 plus 4,
that's 6,
6
plus 2.
6 plus 2, it's 8. 8 plus 1, it's 9. Okay, we already have 9, okay? And we have 1
and 8
plus 8, it's 9.
It's
okay,
9.
So you see the link, the divine link. This is spiritual between Fatima and the birth of a man in Angola. And what happened in 1917 was in Portugal, because all those who were in Angola at that time were Portuguese, because Angola was a province. Yes, yes. You see why this happened in Portugal, and you have the mathematical proof, the link between what happened in Fatima and the birth of Simon Toko. And now the question is to know, who is Simon Toko? Who is he? Because in the human history, this happened only twice. The first time 2000 ago, and it was a simple star that led the Mago, or whatever you call them, to where Christ was born. Okay, a star. But this time we have the sun, to testify of the birth of Kuswa Congo, or the birth of the Messiah of Isolde. And this is the secret. And you know that the first time also, the first ones to know that Kuswa Congo, the Messiah, was born, were shepherd's. You know that? Okay. And in Fatima, the little children, they were also shepherds. You have all the proof that we are talking, or we are referring to Kuswa Congo, to the Messiah. And you know what? In 1917, at the end of the operations, Tata Nzambi Mazulu said, because of the return, even if it's a hidden one, of my son, I would put an end to the first, how do you call it? La Première Guerre mondiale. The first World War. In 1917, the world was in a war that never had happened before. The First World War. And the sign that Tata Nzambi gave to humanity, that his son came back on earth, is the end of the First World War. And you know that in the history books, everybody know that the end of the First World War was in 1918, and it coincides with the birth of Simon Toko in Angola. Okay? Jacobi, my brother, imagine when Simon Toko came, you know, spiritually speaking, he said, I came back to free my people. And Africa, all of Africa, almost all of Africa was into bondage, as you know. And it was Simon Toko. At one point of his life, he left Angola to go to the Republic, to the Democratic, no, it was the Belgian Congo at the time, okay? So he confronted himself to the Belgian, and he said to them, it was in 1949, all right? And in 1950, he was imprisoned by the Belgian authorities. And at that time, he said, "You don't know who I am, but I tell you that I came to free Africa." And I give you, it was in 1950, in January 1950. And he said to the Belgians and to all colonial powers that I give you 10 years, and after 10 years, this land, which is mine, will be free, and almost all of Africa will be free. And this came true in 1960, and 1960 was the date when the secret of Fatima had to be revealed in the world, and the Pope John the 23rd didn't do that because they knew that the moment they tell the truth about Fatima, their power is off. The power of Babylon is falling down. Okay? They knew that. They don't serve that Nzambi.
They can never, the truth can never abide in them.
Yeah, they serve the one whose number is 666. I
totally agree with you in the divinity of the number 999, because throughout whatever they have been doing is taking that of which belongs to Tata Nzambi and flipping it. You know, like they certainly would say that as it is above, so is it below. You see, even with the land, it's what they've been doing, flipping everything. Now, perhaps we have dealt with Simon Toko. Now, Simon Kimbangu.
This is very important, very, very interesting question, because, we have millions of our brothers who are Kimbangists. I have had many, many occasions to discuss with them. They say, no, Simon Toko was a disciple of Simon Kimbangu. So Simon Kimbangu was greater than Simon Toko. It's this happened 2,000 years ago between John the Baptist's disciples, not John the Baptist's disciples and the disciples of Kushwakongo. It was the same thing. But now the question is, who came first, John the Baptist or the Messiah of Sisole? Who came first?
I would believe the Messiah was there before, but in history we are told that came first. The lesser
in the Bible, in the Bible, John the Baptist came first. And
yes,
he said, I came to open up the way to the one who's coming after me. And exactly the same words that Simon Kimbangu said. He said, no, I'm not the Messiah. The question was put to him, and he said plainly, I am, in Kikongo, he said, mono into moi. Mono into moi means I am the one who has been sent to open up the way of another one who's coming after me. And the other one who came after Simon Kimbangu is Simon Toko. And you know what? Kimbangu literally in Kikongo means what is in the Bible in John chapter 1. Can we read it? It's exactly the significance, the meaning of Kimbangu. John chapter 1.
Going to John chapter 1. In the beginning was the word.
No, we will go down to there was a man whose name. Okay, starting from verse 6.
There was a man sent from Tatanzambi whose name was Lekanganye. The name came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe.
Okay, you know what? To bear witness in the Congo language is Sia Umbangi or Kimbangi. Okay, so Kimbangu is the witness. That's the reason why the title of Kimbangi's church is the Church of Kuswa Congo or the Messiah of Isolele through his witness, Simon Kimbao. Okay, so everything is you know, people tend to reorganize things to write down another history instead of telling the truth, the plain truth. Okay, now,
for us
you know, my brother Yakubi, we can't end this interview without referring or without sending a strong message to the diaspora. Okay, I told the diaspora in 2020, when the Modern Semi sent me to them, normally I would have traveled to the States in the beginning of 2020. But suddenly, you know what happened? Broke out the pandemic. And I couldn't make it at that time. But the time will come, I tell you, that my feet will be in Babylon. And I will be able to tell the plain truth to our Bantu people so that the eyes be open. Okay? You can't, for example, when we read Zephaniah chapter 3, verses 9 to 10, Zephaniah, it's clear that the kingdom of heaven, okay, Kintinu Kiatatanzambi, would be beyond the rivers of Africa. It is written.
Beyond the rivers of Kush will my remnant be.
It's Africa, okay?
The sacrifice.
And here the prophet is referring to the daughter of the diaspora, which means the diaspora. They will come and bring offerings to me. Where? Beyond the rivers of Africa.
Kush.
And another great sign is that Kuswa Congo, the Messiah of Solele, refers to himself as the Lion of Judah. True? So, except I think in India, the only region of the world where you find lions is Africa, the center of Africa. So when Kuswa Congo is saying, I'm the Lion of Judah, it can be in Palestine. Believe me, it is in Africa, okay? And now, I told our people of the diaspora, you have to believe that I'm telling you the truth, because what I'm telling you doesn't come from me. It was a revelation from the Mount of Semi, a revelation from the Messiah of Israel. But only one can free you and tell you, speak out and say, go back to the promised land. It is the Messiah. No man can do that. So believe me that the one who is calling you is no man. He is the one who was announced in Fatima in 1917 and who can't die, because people say that Simon Toko died. No, I can tell you that officially he died in 1983. It was the last day of 1983. But when you take the life of Simon Toko, you will see that he was announced in 1917. Okay, so we have 17. The number is 17, and when he died, it was in 1983, and it was 17 years also up to the end of the year. So the life of Simon Toko, okay, at the beginning you have 17, at the end you have 17, and he is in the middle to say that what happened in 1917 is about me. And I'm the one who is calling my people, my diaspora, back to Africa. And this is happening now. My brother Yakub. There's no force in the world which will stop it. No force in the world, because Kuswa Congo is living, and up to now he is working on his father's plan to save humanity. Okay, and you will see that up to I said in my book Dry Bones that starting from 2020, exactly what happened when Simon Toko was in prison in 1950, and he said to the Edomites, I give you 10 years. So 10 years has been given to Babylon, the United States, and other countries where our people are scattered. 10 years, starting from 2020 to 2030. This is a prophecy, I'm telling you. We will see what will happen up to 2030 if our people will continue to be slaves, because we must tell the truth. They're still under bondage, and they will have to go back to the promised land. And this is what we are doing right now, okay? So this is my message to the diaspora. I can't lie you. I can't cheat upon you, as many people have said. Another one who is here to lie or to deviate people from the truth. No, I am telling you the truth. Once our people, you know what Bob Marley said? He sang, emancipate yourselves from
mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind.
Yeah.
And have no fear.
Yes. Okay, so I'm very glad to see that although it's still a minority, but more and more of our people in the diaspora are awakening to the truth. Stop worshiping that white Christ who never existed. Who never existed.
Yes, my king. Okay. Yes, my king. Yes, my king.
Turn to the real one. The only one who is able to take you from Babylon to Isolele, to the promised land.
And they even tell us they even tell us of his features, hair like wool.
Yes. Daniel chapter 7.
Yes.
Daniel
even the one seated on the throne is to be looked upon as a jasper and a sardine stone. So you know, anybody saying that you,
my brother,
against the white Messiah is a liar, I call them the liars, not you, my king.
Perhaps, you know, one I would like us to end with one, in my opinion, of the most important texts in the Bible to know how Tatanzambia Mazulu's ways are not our ways. Because most of the people don't believe that the 12 tribes of Israel, Isolele, are Africans, because we are despised in the whole world, okay? And you'll see that this is the condition that Tatanzambia Mazulu himself set up for his people. They should be despised because
know this for sure. If they hate you, they hated me first.
Okay, can you read from but God, okay. 1 Corinthians, starting from verse 26 to verse 29. When you have, you meditate on this text and know how.
That was 2 Corinthians?
No, first Corinthians, chapter 1, verses 26 to 29. And you will see that it fits exactly our situation as Bantu people, as Black people. Okay.
For you see, your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called, but Tatanzambe had chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And Tatanzambe has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And base things of the world and things which are despised.
Despised.
Tanzambi chosen, yea,
Solely.
and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should tremble in his presence. But of
You
him,
see? Yeah, you see? So these are the conditions. These are the conditions to be a chosen people of the Most High. You must fit this description, okay? Foolish things. They say that we Africans, we are foolish, right?
If you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book, they say.
Tatanzam has chosen the weak things. We are the weakest in the world, okay? Of the world to confront the things that are mighty. Base things of the world, things which are despised. We are despised everywhere we go, even in India, okay? Recently, there's a brother, a Congolese brother in India, who has been killed by the police for no reason. Why? It's always the same. When in the United States, our people are marching, saying black, how they say?
Lives matter.
Black lives matter. They're still obliged to say that black lives matter in this 21st century because of we are despised everywhere. And this state of being despised is the condition that Tanzania has given to his people to remain the chosen people, to confound the strong, to confound those who glorify themselves, like the Edomites did in South Africa with apartheid. They said, we are not going to get mixture with that people because we are clean, they are unclean. They don't know that saying that themselves, they're excluding themselves from,
blessing the salvation of Tatanzambi, Yamazulu, Mpungu Tolendo. Yes, Banabeto.
So now, I will ask you a question.
Yes, my king.
Your name is Yakubi.
Yakubi.
Okay. Why?
Because I was named James, but I am a Bantu. I am a son of Muntu. Okay. Muntu Barankosi Yamazulu.
Okay.
So Yakubi is my name because I, just like my progenitor, whom they call Jacob, purpose to see the Kembo of Tatanzambi by his ngolo. So I associate with everything that belongs to Tatanzambi.
Okay, I will tell you something. The proof that I can give to the whole world that the first Bible that was given to Moses, you know that the name Moses comes from the Congo language, Maza, which means water, because he was taken from the water. Okay, Maza. Okay, was in what we would call today the Congo language. Congo meaning the kingdom. Congo is a root for king. Okay, so when we say Congo is the kingdom of heaven. Congo dian totela, totela comes from Ntoto, which means the earth. Totela means the whole earth. Congo dian totela, the kingdom of the whole earth. Okay. Now, you know that Yakubi is a translation from the Congo language, because Yaakov means the one who seizes, or who, how would you say that in English, in right English? Who grabbed, to grab, okay? You know that to grab in the Congo language is Simba, even in Lingala, because Simba is to grab. And when you go back to the history of Jacob, you know that they were twins, and they were fighting to know who would be the first to go out. And since the youngest, whose name would be Jacob, was the most dynamic. Okay, when he saw that Esau was going out or coming out of the womb, the first, he grabbed his heel. Okay, so the reason why even in Yiddish they say Yaakov, which means the one who grabbed the heel of his brother. Okay, but now you know that this was translated directly from the Congo language, because Simba, in our traditions, the twins are called Nzuzi and Simba.
Mhm.
And Simba literally means Yaakov. Jacob. Okay, but now look, when you take the name Simba and you read it from right to left, it gives you Mbasi.
Mbasi.
Okay, and you know what Mbasi means?
Indulge me, my king.
Angel, angel. So in one word, we have the story of the beginning of Isolele. Okay, the one who grabbed the heel of his brother in Simba, later on fought against the angel of Tatanzambi, Mbasi. And Tatanzambi chose him to be his representative on earth. And the word Mbasi, mind you, gave embassy in English. Embassy, which means the representation of, the one who speaks in the name of.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Can you see that?
I see it, my king. I see it.
Simba, Mbasi, and you have also within these two words the word Nsambu. Simba, Nsambu. And Nsambu means blessings, because the blessings of the whole humanity came through Jacob. Can you see that? And Nsambu is the same family than Samba, which means to worship. Samba. You just take the nasal from Samba and you have Saba, the Sabbath day. Okay?
Eli, lama, sabatani, as he said.
Definitely, I will not call you Yakubi. I will call you Simba. And you know, Simba also means the lion, the king lion. What's the name of the lion? Kingdom. Not Simba. Is that Simba?
Simba. My king. Oh, okay. Banabeto, the man, the legend, Pastor Melo, full of wisdom as he is humble. It's been an engaging conversation. We have learned things we did not know. It's been an amazing interview with you, Pastor Melo. I hope you can make some time to come back, because
it will be with great pleasure, because I know that once this video is posted, you have plenty of questions, and I'm ready to answer them.
Yes, my king, and perhaps next time we can go live with a live audience, so that they can engage you as we discuss these things. It is an honor and humbling.
Tell me one thing: are you from Kenya, from Tanzania, from
Kenya?
I'm in the East Gate. Okay.
I am Ambuta in the East Gate.
Good. So I convey all my greetings of love in Tatanzambi's name to all our brothers and sisters in Kenya and throughout Africa and throughout the diaspora. The message I'm conveying today, I repeat, is not mine. It's coming from Tatanzambi, from the Mondonse. And you will see that time is coming, the days are coming, when this truth will be put on the table without any doubt, any discussion. Okay?
Yes, my king. I agree with you 100%. Banabeto, we continue to ask you, Ungubani, why you know thyself. You heard it from Pastor Melo. You've been requesting him. He made time. And I tell you one thing, Banabeto. The man is as wise as he is humble. It's been an honor, my king. Until next time, we say blessings, blessings, blessings. Nsambulolo. Until next time.
Okay.